Welcome to Algebra 2. My name is Mr. Savini. I have been at RA for 11 years, and I've been teaching this course specifically for 9 years. We do things a little different this year, and we'll get into that as we get into the video. Um, yeah, let me know if you have questions. So a typical class day for us, which we have not gotten to a typical class day yet. We're kind of easing into the year. So far we've only done, some review work, um, just review concepts that I want to refresh before we get into the course content. But when we get up to speed, the plan will be that the students will complete notes at home via recorded instruction. And then in class, we're going to do the practice that would typically be what you would have expected your homework to be. We will start class every day um, with a do now that will kind of bring the students together, wrap up the main point, the main concept of the notes that they did the night before. And again, the bulk of the class time will be them working on the practice questions with me in the room, available for help individually. So I can help them as much or as little as needed, depending on the student. And then we'll end class with a wrap-up question or problem or something that ties into the lesson as well. So the concept of what I'm doing is considered a flipped classroom, where again they're doing the easy part at home, in my opinion, and then they're doing the hard part with me, as opposed to traditionally where I would lecture during class and then send them home to do the homework. Um, we're doing it opposite, where they're doing the hard part with me in the room to help them individually as as needed. So that's what a typical class day will be. We're not there yet. Um, we're actually going to start notes this week, and we're going to do that in class. So I'm not even sending them home to do that at first. I'm going to really show them how that part will be completed. The notes will be done online, and the textbook is online. I do have a class set of hard, like actual physical books, if students require them or need them or want them. But primarily, we're going to be using the online textbook um, and the online system for taking notes and doing the practice and taking the quizzes and stuff like that. So that's all stuff that's going to get unveiled as the year progresses, this week and in the near future. Google Classroom is going to be utilized every day. So if you look, this is an example of what I put on the stream of Google Classroom. So every day I post the agenda. From Friday, it was very simple. They took a little quiz. Um, and if they didn't complete it in class or they weren't in class, I was just hoping that they would get it done over the weekend. But that's what goes in the stream. So every day I post what we did in class. Um, and it's for anybody, but it's really for students if they're out of school. They can see what they missed and what they need to catch up on. The second part of Google Classroom is the classwork part, where it's every assignment they get will go in here. It'll be grouped by the unit. So right now I'm just calling it the pre-unit, where we're um, learning, going over concepts that I'm hoping that just get refreshed before we really dive into the Algebra 2 content. But each assignment is listed there that we've done. So we've had a couple practices, we had a quiz on Friday, and that kind of thing. So that's where they can keep track of what they've done, what they haven't done, what they need to do. So again, Google Classroom is going to be utilized that way. Um, it's important that, in my opinion, it's important that in the event that your student needs to be home, I need to be home, we all need to be home at a certain point for a certain amount of time, um, that we have Google Classroom that we're going to utilize in the same way no matter what. So in the event that, things get disrupted for a variety of reasons in a variety of ways, um, Google Classroom is going to be our constant. It's going to be used the same way whether we're in school or out of school. So that's there for everyone to use every day. My homework expectations, again, primarily it's going to be just taking notes. So I'll have a video to aid with that, where I basically go through the problems and the vocabulary and that kind of thing. The students on their end can watch my video and then basically fill in the notes the same way they would in class, in person, if I was doing it the traditional way. In the event that class time is not being used efficiently, they may have some practice assignments to complete at home as well, if they get behind that kind of thing. Um, but I'm designing, and I will adjust as the year goes on because this is all new for me too, doing it this way. Um, the practice assignments I'm going to design to be the majority of the students should get the majority of their assignments done in class time. Okay, so again, I will adjust as needed. If I'm assigning too much, then I'll cut back. If the students are getting the assignments done in half an hour and they have another half hour to waste in class, then I'll be making them a little longer, whatever, a little more harder to do. But again, those adjustments I'll make as we go and as we get into this. But again, we're going to ease into the year, as I've said in class multiple times to your students, that this is not the year to just pile on at the beginning, nor should anyone be doing that anyway. But this is obviously the year that we're going to ease into things. We're going to slowly build up to where we want to get to. So um, my goal right now is just for the kids to be comfortable in class, comfortable with the content, not overwhelmed. I know they have other classes too. I'm aware that my math class is not the only class they're taking. So again, I'm not trying to overload them with stuff right now. But again, we're going to build up to where we're going to go. But again, I would say the number one thing your student can do is just stay current with the notes, with the practices, not falling behind. When they fall behind and they have to catch up on a ton of work all at once, they're not learning. So staying current is what I'm going to be harping on in class. And if they can get that message at home too, that'd be awesome. Um, yeah, if they need help, again, I've designed class to be it's designed in a way that they're going to get the maximum amount of help that I could provide them during class time, right? So it's traditionally I'd be lecturing and then sending them home to do the work, and then they're on their own, right? Whereas I'm designing it to be done in class with me to help them as much or as little as they need. Um, maybe there'll be some lessons that your student needs more help than others, and that's going to be available to them to get that help during class. If they need extra help, they're welcome to come in during lunch and flex time. Um, Again, I can help them individually. There'll probably be less people in the room at those times. But again, class time is a great time to just get the help too. Um, if it's outside of school time, they can email me. I'll do my best to get back to them, depending on what's going on in my house. I have a 5-year-old and a 1-year-old, just full disclosure. So uh, my evenings are pretty hectic, but I will make time. I will do my best to get back to your student that evening, as if they send me an email, in the afternoon or in the evening. They're obviously welcome to work with a friend. Technology is to the point now where they can video chat with each other. That's all good. If they're working on assignments together at home, that's awesome. Um, Obviously, during school, I don't have my desk set up in groups anymore for obvious reasons. But there will be opportunities for them to work with people that are already near them. Um, so again, working with friends is good. Um, we have an online textbook. Answers to their questions are almost always in there as well, so I'm going to encourage them to use that as well. And there's other resources if they're just looking for another perspective on things. Khan Academy and Purple Math are I think the two best that are out there. But there's other things. Like, quite honestly, if a student Googles a math concept that we're working on, they're going to get a legit answer to how to do a certain question. So they're all good at that. I think the year at home, um, most students have built up those kind of skills of looking things up on their own. So I'm going to encourage that as well. But again, primarily, if they need help, that's what my class time is designed for. So they should be taking advantage of that. Obviously, I will be reaching out to the students that are falling behind or struggling with certain concepts on my own. But I also encourage them to advocate for themselves if they have questions. Like, that's what I'm here for. That's my job. Grading expectations. So basically 4 categories in the grade book. 9% of their grades are classwork. I'm going to put notes in the classwork category, even though I'm telling you that notes are going to be done primarily at home. Again, once we get going, that hasn't happened yet. The do nows and the exit tickets that tie into those will all be part of the classwork portion of the grade book. Those will be graded just based on completion. Like, did they do it? Um, I'm not grading those on accuracy. 14% of their overall grade will be the practice assignments that they're going to do for each lesson that they will be working on in class. So um, They will be graded on accuracy. However, it's not like they get one chance at a question. If they get a question wrong, they try it again. Um, if they get a question wrong a second time, depending on the question in the system, it'll just give them another question that's similar with the same with different numbers, and that's what I'm there to help them with during class. That will be graded on accuracy. So if they, don't get a question right and then just walk away from it, they're not going to get the 100%. But again, that's what class time is for, to get the help. So they really should be getting 100% on all their practice, no matter what. But it's up to them if they're getting the help they need or not. 71% of the greatest formal assessments. That's going to comprise of lesson quizzes, which are going to be small quizzes that we do at the completion of every lesson. Um, I'm thinking 5-10 minutes tops on days we have those, before we then start the next part of we start the next lesson. We'll have mid-chapter quizzes. So if there's, 7, 8 lessons in a chapter, we'll do a quiz after 3 or 4, and then we'll have chapter tests. So all of those together will be 71% uh, of your trimester grade, and then 6% for trimester exams. It seems like a small percentage, but remember, that's one test, right? So one test is going to be um, a cumulative test at the end of each trimester. Keep in mind, though, that it is trimester specific. So the trimester 2 exam, for example, will only consist of material from trimester 2 and not trimester 1. That is a little murky in math because obviously concepts bleed over, but specifically the content will come directly from those trimesters for the exams. If you have any other questions, I will be available 6:30 to 8 o'clock this Thursday for Academy Night. The Meet link is there. It's also posted on the same sheet that you clicked into this video, so you should have access to that link. I'll be available at that time if you have any questions in addition to what I just went over. And obviously, beyond that, you can email me anytime with questions, concerns all year. I will definitely be reaching out to you if I have concerns on my end, but just keep that open line of communication. Email is the best way to get me. If we need to talk over the phone, we can schedule time over email. But that's it. So let me know if you have any questions. I look forward to seeing you at Academy Night if you have questions, or shoot me an email.